You're what up, though? What up, though? What's the word? Good morning, good afternoon. What's the word? It's good, y'all. I don't got the paperwork again. If y'all want to, once again, donate, go to the Cash App $ building back. Everything will be going towards our drive that we're gonna be doing for the kids for the nonprofit. So while I'm talking to y'all, I'm just keeping an eye on this shit for this Airbnb shit, man, just to see if it fuck around and start trading while we here talking. Who hopped on that DoorDash? If you didn't already, it's too late. Don't worry about it. Next time, just take my advice. Make sure that you know how to use pre-bids. It helps when stocks first drop, because they're gonna shoot up regardless, and not everybody got five fast fingers to buy. So you got to make sure you put the bid in early. Hopefully you did it for Airbnb, but maybe not. The way this shit is going up, man, it's 130. All right. Yeah, I mean, the way they shot this number up, man, I'm not even excited about Airbnb. I ain't gonna lie to you. We're gonna give it a couple more minutes, man. We'll briefly go over the Airbnb. I got a stock for y'all to tap into. Then I'll get y'all on y'all way. But yeah, thank you for the information. 11:30, so that means in an hour. No doubt, no doubt. Appreciate it. We'll give it a couple more minutes, man. I normally give it at least 4 or 5 minutes. I got a good 15, 20 minutes. First off, before I get into this with the people that's in here, is if anybody has any questions, I'm open to answering them now. Uh, Hopefully, you guys checked the market today. It's looking decent. I mean, I guess it really just depends on what stocks you invested into. I know with the stocks I'm invested into, I'm up right now for the day, which is always a blessing on Thursday because if you see my Twitter, Thursdays is the day where they drop the unemployment rate, and the unemployment rate actually looks shitty as fuck today. So the fact that it's any kind of positive in the market, it's a blessing. While we waiting on some of the more people get in, just to kind of give y'all some insight on some of the stocks that I'm currently benefiting from right now. Boeing's doing really good. Airlines in general is doing really, really good. Um, and that has a lot to do with the stock that we're talking about getting into. Robert, it depends on the platform. Uh, Robinhood, it really depends. I purchased my Airbnb too. I put in the pre-order too, but I ain't gonna lie, since the numbers had shot up the way that they did in terms of what the share is gonna start off at, I'm nervous about this whole Airbnb thing now. It just makes me nervous. Um, but to each his own. I mean, at the end of the day, you can always sell it. It's not gonna go down. But I just don't know, man. Airbnb, I don't know what the fuck they doing. For the people who didn't get the DoorDash yesterday, fuck it, let's get into it. For the people who didn't get the DoorDash yesterday, I wouldn't even waste my time on it at this point in time. That number is where it's gonna be at. Like if you seen my initial Fetti Talk, then you would know that I told you to get that shit immediately. I told you to get it the second that it dropped, the absolute second that it dropped, and it was going to shoot up. It's up. It's up there, stuck there. So I just wouldn't even waste my time even focusing on DoorDash unless you see that shit plummet. Only reason it's going to realistically plummet at this point in time is if the whole market just completely fucks up, and I just don't see that happening anytime soon. So we at the 5 minute mark, man. Whoever joined at this point, just gonna join. Once again, if anybody wants to contribute to the nonprofit, because I don't want no money for y'all for this shit. I just want to make sure that if you want to contribute, it goes towards something outside of my pockets, because I don't need y'all fucking money. Um, donate towards a nonprofit. You can go to the website bbtcfoundation.com. I do appreciate everybody's support. So for y'all that know, man, we got Airbnb today, man. Yo, I don't know, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I felt like I knew what this was supposed to be when they originally had it priced at that, 55, $60, $65 price point. Even that was kind of high, being the fact that they haven't turned a profit ever. Like, there hasn't been a single year since they opened that they've actually been profitable. They raised this money through crowdfunding to actually become public. So, you know, I thought that was a really, really fair number, but unless you pre-ordering and hopefully it gets through, because see, that's one of the things about pre-ordering. It's almost like buying some Jordans without a bot. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can want to do it, but if too many people are on it, at that moment, then you might get pushed behind, and that number that you're trying to bid for may not necessarily hit. You know what I'm saying? So it's a not necessarily a gamble because you're not losing nothing, but it's just not guaranteed that the pre-purchase number that you went for Airbnb is going to be that number. I did that shit for DoorDash yesterday where I put in a pre-order for the 102 and I didn't end up getting that bitch till 120. You know what I'm saying? Just because of so many people who was just constantly getting the stock. So ultimately, man, it's not a guarantee that you're going to get it at that number. It is smart to pre-purchase it though, because that's your best chance without actually being involved in the stock market. It's a reason why stockbrokers get paid what they do. They have access to systems to make sure you have that locked in number, but that shit costs. So, for regular motherfuckers like me and you, we got to kind of just get it this way. This Airbnb price, man, is some bullshit, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, because if it becomes available to the public to where you can buy it right at the 150, for those who don't know, when I first talked about this stock, I talked about it being at 50, $60 a stock. Now they're talking about this shit opening up at 150 if you didn't pre-buy this motherfucker, which there's no real profit potential in Airbnb at 150. Like, it's just not, because I mean, first off, niggas ain't even using Airbnb right now. So you really purchasing the stock now based on the potential of what it's going to be after this whole pandemic shit is over, which we don't even know when it's over. Like, I know that they want to end it in the next few months, but you know, diseases don't work on our time; they work on theirs. So there just is no guarantee that there's a lot of profit opportunities. And by the way, if anybody's actually on Robinhood, I'm going to be looking down as I'm going through this. But if somebody is on Robinhood, if somebody's on one of these stocks, I know they said 11:30, but I don't trust none of this shit. So if it happens to pop up, just make sure you guys comment in the chat. But with this Airbnb shit, man, if you don't pre-buy it, if you don't know how to pre-buy it, I would just wait. I would just wait and see what it does, because even if it shoots up, that don't necessarily mean nothing, because it's going to go back down at some point in time. Like, if you look at any other hospitality type of business, whether it's hotels, whether it's booking.com, or any of these things that have anything to do with travel or hospitality, none of those things actually come up to what Airbnb is priced at right now. So, they just did an interview with the motherfucker who owns Airbnb, and when they told him that the price point could be up to 150, he was at a loss for words, because he himself said they were preparing for it to be at 55, $60. So if the owner don't know what the fuck is to become of this shit, who the fuck am I? You know what I'm saying? Like, who are any of us? We don't know shit. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? So because of that, anytime I see some type of uncertainty with the owner of it, it just gives me skepticism, especially when you factor in the fact that Airbnb hasn't turned actual profit as a company in damn near 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So I would just say, if you got the pre-order in, cross your fingers, hope you can get in at the best possible price. But if you don't, just wait. Just wait. That's just your best bet, is just to wait. Once again, the stock market is looking halfway decent today, which is surprising, because Thursdays is when they dropped the unemployment rate, and the unemployment rate did not look good. We got a lot of fucked up things going on right now. The stimulus talks have actually got pushed back again. See, man, and I'm not going to blame it on Republicans or Democrats, but the last proposal was that we get $600 checks and $300 a month unemployment insurance, which, I mean, that's a fucking joke. I mean, I know between me and my wife, we had tens of thousands of dollars worth of taxes that we had to pay last year. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that they act like they doing us a favor by giving us a $600 check, that shit is a fucking joke. Um, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to plummet, but I do think it's going to go down. Like plummets, that's a strong word. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a really really strong word. I don't want to get that dramatic, but I predict it going down. But I don't know shit because he don't even know shit. So I don't want you guys to buy this stock unless you know what the fuck you're doing. Once again, unless you put the pre-order in. If you don't know how to put the pre-order in, I wouldn't even worry about it now because I'm not about to waste my time to show y'all how to do it. You just have to learn some of these things on your own. But if you know how to pre-buy the IPO stock, be my guest. That doesn't mean you're going to necessarily get it at that price point, but it's worth it to do that because at least once it does shoot up, you can catch it at least somewhere in the middle. But just wait, man. Just wait and see what it does. It does have potential once this shit clears up. But if they already going for the gusto at 150, then it's just hard to understand what the margins are going to be for profit. I wouldn't risk it, so I'm not going to tell y'all to risk it. But with this stimulus talks, man, because of the stimulus talks, that's one of the reasons why the stocks aren't really that big right now. Um, they need to get something cracking before Christmas because the federal unemployment insurance is gone after Christmas, which is a real weird day to do some shit like that. And then the first of the month, moratorium, the federal moratorium. For those who don't know what that is, I mean, we're talking about tens of millions of people who have been relying on the fact that they can push their payments back through, rental agreements. That shit is over after this month. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things are going to be fucked up, but a lot of things are actually going to benefit from that, which I hate to say, but it's just something to kind of keep in mind when it comes to looking at different stocks. Completely new to the investment side of the game. I'm gonna tap in with you separate. I don't want to bombard you with questions on here. Actually, if you have questions on here, I would prefer that you do it here because that's why I'm doing this because I don't want to answer individual questions. It just becomes too time consuming, man. This is what I do for a living in terms of this stock shit, and I have to be on top of this shit. Like the fact that I'm even taking this time out, it kind of fucks with it. But I'd rather do this than answer every individual question. So if you have questions, I'd rather you just do it now. So in terms of outside of that, Airbnb, good luck. If you were thinking about DoorDash, if you didn't get on it yesterday, it's over at the moment. Like that stock is too high. $180 for a stock like that. If you look at Uber, which actually does both travel and Uber Eats, it's a fraction of DoorDash. And Uber makes more money than DoorDash. You know what I'm saying? So because they provide both the food and the driving. So I mean, it's just too high now. Like you guys lost, you missed it. You should have listened. You should have. I told y'all don't be scared to jump in the water. You got to dive right in. If you missed it, slow feet don't eat. So I feel in terms of Airbnb, like I said, just let it open, see what it does, and react based off of that. But I do not recommend buying that stock at no $150 a share. I just don't. I'm sorry. It's just too many signs to indicate that it's not worth that at this current moment. But do what you please. Stock. So in terms of stocks of the day, one stock that I know I spoke the other day about the fact that pharmaceutical stocks are not really something that you really want to get into if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So I am going to recommend though looking into Pfizer. I know I was talking shit about Pfizer the other day, but see, this is the thing about stocks. Things change every day. And when it comes to Pfizer, they actually have just presented their vaccine to the FDA board. And all it takes is the FDA is to approve this shit. And once they approve it, that means that they're going to be the first ones selling this shit, which means they're going to get flooded with business. Right now, they're a little bit under their high. So I can't really predict what the earning potential of it will be. Like I just don't know. Anytime you deal with something that's at its peak price point, you just never really know what the potential of it is. But you have to understand we are in a pandemic, and the only thing that's going to stop this pandemic is a vaccine. Not to say I'm taking that shit, not to say you're going to take that shit, but there are tens of millions of people, hundreds of millions of people who are going to take this shit. And they got to take it from somebody. And if they're going to take it, they're going to take it from the place that is FDA approved. And the thing that is in front of the FDA board as we speak right now, you can actually tap in to see the live presentation of this if you ever want to Google it. It's boring, but if you want the information, it's available to you. So Pfizer, P Pfizer, look it the fuck up, man. Pfizer's Pharmaceuticals. I don't got time to pull it all up. Pfizer Pharmaceuticals. So that's my stock tip of the day. Look into it. Do your research. But they do plan on having a huge 2021. So if you invest into it now, it's a high likelihood you're going to see a really, really huge return by the end of 2021. So Disney only 140, 150. DoorDash way too high. Yeah, you ain't lying. I have about $1,000 to start with. Just don't know if that's enough money to start or where to start. You know what? See, this is the thing about stocks, bro. Like, you treat stocks like you treat the club or how you treat the casino. Like, this is the money I got to spend. And at the end of the day, you're gonna make it do what it do regardless. Like I don't want you to think that you have to buy some huge ass stock to get on, because a lot of times the stocks that kill the most are the smaller stocks if you know what you're investing into. So my biggest advice to anybody who's looking to get into the stock market is focus on what you know. Like, focus on what you know. Like, don't be so quick to try to get into some tech stock or pharmaceutical stock that you have no fucking idea of what you're getting into. Like, there's some things that are just common sense. Like, when I was first getting into stock, some of the main stocks I was getting into was shit like Nike. Because I knew that Nike, once the pandemic, you know, cleared up with sports, is gonna boom regardless. You know what I'm saying? Or Disney, because they got Disney Plus and they own ESPN and they own Fox and they basically own all the media. So I mean, the first thing is getting into something that you're familiar with, man. Get familiar with it, and once you get familiar with one particular stock, start understanding the trends. I think Robinhood is a good app to use because it does not only provide you insight on the stock, but also updates you with the latest news on that particular stock, so you can have some clarity on what's going on, so if it's something that's worth keeping. And they also give recommendations on if you should sell it, if you should keep it, or if you should hold it. So that would be the one that I recommend for people who've never done it. I personally have stocks in TD Ameritrade, which is a bit more advanced, as well as Robinhood. So it's nothing wrong with doing it in both, but I think if you're brand new, start off in something like Robinhood. I think that would be a good start. That would be a good start for you. Um, but yeah, man, like I said, there is no right or wrong in terms of what stocks to start with. It's just about starting off with something that you're comfortable with. Like, you don't have to feel like you doing stocks like how I'm doing stocks, because I'm at this point doing this shit for a living. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm spending all day, every day, when I'm not with my kids or doing my other shit. Like, this is what I'm doing to get my bread. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm on this. Like, even as we speak, I got Bloomberg on TV. I got Robinhood I'm looking at here. I got whole another phone that I watch CNBC all day for. So I'm in tune with the smaller stocks to tap into. But if that's not you, self-awareness is important. If you know that's not you, just focus on the shit that you know works for you. So, you know, a good stock, I was just saying this yesterday, to look into AT&T. The reason why I say AT&T is because, for people who don't know, and I said this yesterday, but I'll just repeat it. The people who are I don't know if people know, but Warner Brothers just announced that they're going to be releasing all their movies that are supposed to be in theaters on HBO Go Max at the same time. So they'll be in the theaters as well as HBO Go Max. Now, why that applies to AT&T is because AT&T owns Warner Brothers. So anything that Warner Brothers benefits from is going to benefit AT&T. So that's just something to look into. I'm not saying buy that stock, but this is just news that we recently got within the last couple of days. So that's the type of stock that you can look into that could possibly benefit you. That's just one stock. Nike's a good one. Disney still has earning potential. There's a lot of stocks. Travel, airlines still have a ton of earning potential. If you got money to get into Boeing, that's still a potential double up. There's a lot of potential double up stocks out there. But I would just say my stock market tip for today is looking to Pfizer, because if this FDA meeting goes well, they're going to be the first people selling these vaccines, and the first one selling them, they gonna cook. I ain't getting them shots. Good luck to whichever one of you motherfuckers that's gonna get that shot. It ain't gonna be me, but like I said, it's gonna be for a lot of people, and by doing that, it's gonna open up a lot of opportunities. So look into Pfizer. But that's pretty much it, man. Like I said, with this whole Airbnb shit, I just don't know. The owner don't even fucking know. So if the owner don't know, I can't really expect me or anybody else to. So I would personally suggest, if you didn't put the pre-IPO bid in, wait, see what it does. It's more than likely at some point in time going to drop from that 150, which is bad for the company, but good for good for us. Any other questions? I'm gonna stay on here for 2 more minutes. Stay on here for 30 more seconds, unless somebody else pop up a question. I do appreciate the feedback though in the questions. Uh, oh, real name. I didn't even realize that was you. What's up, my brother? Happy belated. That it? All right, cool. All right, man. So we out of here for this week. Make sure y'all tap into my podcast. We actually just dropped an episode yesterday where we interviewed one of the top dog breeders in Western America, focus on Cane Corsos and Frenchies. If you ever want to check out his website, it's canecorso.net. But make sure y'all tap into the YouTube page, because I just dropped the first video, the 3 essential steps to running a successful dog breeding business. We'll be dropping shit every single day. In terms of that podcast, I actually got an artist, one of the top prominent Black artists in Arizona, that I'm gonna be interviewing tomorrow. So yeah, just make sure y'all tap in. But past that, man, y'all have a great rest of the week, man, and get money.